Welcome everybody to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, the Don Juan of Sports, Adam, and we're going to get into some picks. But first, some topics that have been on my mind. First topic today that we're going to talk about is the tweeting topic. Tweet, 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 tweet. I said to people, I said to friends, Twitter will be the end for some of these players. Ocho Cinco has gotten himself in trouble with Twitter. Twitter has cost him a lot because he has a bad rap. He said he was in all the offense in New England against Miami last week. I had no problem with it. Teddy Bruschi has a problem with it because that's his team. He lives and dies with the Patriots. He's still a Patriot at heart. He's an alumni, so you know he dies that team. Rodney Harrison, same thing. Chris Carter, you're not even on the Patriots. So I don't know why you care. You came from, you have a worse rep to start your career than he did. I mean, you got kicked out of Philadelphia for apparently catching touchdowns. The real reason is you had a drug problem and drinking problems, and you couldn't handle it, so they got rid of you in Philadelphia. That's the story there. So how can you point out to a man who hasn't done anything wrong in the league that he's tweeting that he's in awe of the offense? Why? Who cares? It's first week. It's week one. He didn't play much, so he got to watch the offense. And he was always in awe of that offense. He probably always saw. Now he's watching it, and now he can see how efficient it is and how efficient it runs. So, you know what, Osho? You didn't do anything wrong. People are just hating. Let them drink that haterade. You be you. Have fun. Do what you do. This leads into the New England game. New England last week obviously played Miami. Now, if you look at that game, everyone's like, oh, New England threw for 500 yards, rushed for over 100, put up like 600 yards of offense. Yes, but they also gave up 500 yards of offense on defense. Their offense doesn't play defense. But in a high-scoring game, you get to do that. In a high-scoring game, in an open, wide-open game, like they played a fast-break game, so to speak, you can do that. You can be that way. And being that Miami was inept in some of its drives is the reason they didn't win. They had chances to win on defense. Their defense is porous. Miami, not that great, but they had chances to win on defense, believe it or not. Believe it or not, they had chances to win on defense. Which leads me to week 2 picks. Hope you got your pens out. I got mine right here. You better start writing some notes down because this is going to be critical to A, your fantasy teams, and B, the overall game. I pick them, you write them down, put your money on them because I'm going to be right, baby. Here we go. Let's spin that magic wand. We're going to go to the late game. We're going to start with in reverse. We're going to go with the Monday night game first and work our way up to the early games. Kind of change it up on you guys a little bit. Give you a little insight on each game real quick. New York Giants, St. Louis, Monday Night Football. Should be a good game. At least it's a New York game, so you know the world's going to be watching. The 25-year anniversary team, 1986 Super Bowl team is going to be in the building. The Giants need to win this game. You need to win this game, not only because you don't want to go 0-2 and then face the Philadelphia Eagles the next week, but your alumni is in the building and your fans are all ticked off. So you want to show your fans and the alumni of that team that you still got it, that you are going to fight for this season, that it is not going to be over. Not going to be over. You want that. You need that. They need that. I'm picking the G-Men in this game with their backs to the wall. Atlanta and Philadelphia. Atlanta and Philadelphia. This is the game of the week. This is the game of the week. No matter what they tell you on the mid games, this is the game of the week. This is the game. The funniest part is I haven't had that much publicity, but this is it. Homecoming for Michael Vick, the guy who reinvented the Atlanta Falcons, the guy who made so many people look silly when he came into the league, is back where it started. A guy who ripped the heart out like Kano from Mortal Kombat of a franchise. And now he's back. And I would have given the Eagles a benefit of the doubt in this game and said they probably could win it. But because Atlanta's at home and they lost, and they're upset that they lost to Chicago because they were the top seed one of the top seeds last year. They were the top seed last year, I believe. And they lost to Green Bay. And then they came out and put up a crappy performance on last Sunday. They're going to be loud in that Georgia Dome. They're going to be raucous in that Georgia Dome. And they're going to make the Michael Vick experience tough. They're going to make that homecoming tough. I'm picking Atlanta in this game only because they're home. And I told you last week, the reason the Green Bay Packers would win because of emotion at home, I think the same thing is going to happen for Atlanta. Let's move on to the next game, San Diego and New England. San Diego and New England. What a great matchup. I'm picking San Diego because that New England defense, you saw it on Monday, is not that good. And that San Diego team is going to, they have those big receivers against those corners. You saw what Brandon Marshall did. I expect a big game out of San Diego, Phillip Rivers, and Antonio Gates. So if you got Malcolm Floyd or Vincent Jackson, I look for them to have a big game. Also, their running back Ryan Matthews and Mike Tolbert, I look for them to pound the rock a little bit, eat up some of that clock, keep Brady on the sidelines. Houston and Miami. This is a big game for Houston. Why is it a big game for Houston? It's a statement game. You just beat up on Indianapolis last week. Granted, they didn't have Peyton Manning, but you just beat up on them last week. Now you're going up against the Miami team who you already saw that they can't handle a potent offense. You have a potent offense. This is where your offense needs to take over the game, and your defense can come to play. Boom. Your defense doesn't have to do much. It has to keep you in the game and not wet the bed. Okay? So I'm picking Houston in this game. I think they have a lot of firepower. If they keep themselves in the right frame of mind, they will be in the playoffs at the end of the year. Cincinnati and Denver. Cincinnati, crazy game last week. Braun and Bruce Gradkowski, they won the football game. I don't know if he's going to be starting this week, but Andy Dalton did struggle and got a little injured, a little banged up last week. So we don't know if Bruce Gradkowski is going to come in, but he did win them that football game. So I look for Cincinnati to pull up another upset in Denver and beat the Denver Broncos. Dallas, San Francisco used to be a historic rivalry. Used to be one of those marquee games of the week on Sundays. When you used to be a kid, used to watch Steve Young, Troy Aikman go at it, Joe Montana and Troy Aikman back in the day. You know, that was a marquee day. Now the franchises are different points in their illustrious history, but I picked the Cowboys to win that game just because they have too much defense, and the San Francisco 49ers pulled off an upset last week with some special teams help. Arizona and Washington. Washington's emotional high. They're playing in Washington back-to-back home games. They're fired up. Washington's going to be a tough environment to play. And this is we'll really see how good Arizona's going to be. I picked Arizona just because I like what they do offensively, and I think that team is a little. Washington's a little susceptible to long ball. Obviously, the Giants improved to you last week, but I think Arizona's going to come through. Baltimore, Tennessee. Need I even say more? I shouldn't even have to. Baltimore is going to win that game. They are on a tear right now. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Let's do this. Pittsburgh, Seattle. Seattle versus Pittsburgh. If you lose a rematch of Super Bowl in 2005, if you lose this game, Pittsburgh, you might as well give back your 6 trophies because this team is made to order. You should not lose to Seattle, who lost to the 49ers last week. Jacksonville and the Jets. I'm going with my upset pick. You ready? I'm going with Jacksonville. Don't sleep on that team. It's in New York. Don't sleep on them. The Jets are riding high, but you forget that Jacksonville team has a good running game. Chi-Town versus New Orleans. I'm picking New Orleans. New Orleans at home in that dome. You know, they put up a good fight last week. They want to show the NFL and their fans they still got it. I'm picking New Orleans. Minnesota, Tampa Bay. I'm going with Minnesota. No need to go there. I think Minnesota played a good game against San Diego. They're going to beat Tampa Bay this week. Cleveland and Indy. I'm going with Cleveland again because Indy's in disarray. KC and Detroit. I'm picking Detroit. Good luck to that team. Green Bay, Carolina. Super Bowl champs. I'm picking Green Bay. And the last game, Oakland versus Buffalo. I'm going with Oakland in this game. I like Buffalo's chances, but I'm going with Oakland in that game. So let's recap. We got Oakland, Green Bay, Detroit, Cleveland, Minnesota, New Orleans, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Arizona, Dallas, Cincinnati, Houston, San Diego, Atlanta, New York. Those are your picks. Week 2. Holla at your boy. I'll be back during the week to give you some updates on some stories, recap some certain games. Let's go.